very laid back. And he's a professional cash player, plays online, and good thinker about the game, very modest, and hasn't really had the live results that he deserves. James Mitchell is someone that has had some live results. He finished third in the GUKPT in Luton when he was barely old enough to go into the casino, beaten by Sam Trickett in that tournament, another good young prospect. He's well respected by the youngsters around the UK community. He's sort of hangs around with that mob that involve... oh dear, here we go, Joey Lovelady. This is an aggressive all-in move, the perfect stack size to do it. He's just unlucky that James Mitchell is such a card rack. James has found the two kings. Joey's done nothing wrong. 2100 to play. Joey's stacked. What are you going to do? You've got a good chance to make him lay it down. You can pick up the blinds and antes. You can pick up the 2100. You can add 25% to your stack, 20% to your stack. That's what he tried to do with the king queen. Much better than just calling. We saw a lot of people earlier calling in the blinds with hands like king queen. Joey knows what you should really do with it is move it in. Unless they've got a big hand, they're not going to call you. Unfortunately for him, James Mitchell found a big hand. Must be nice being James.
Yeah, and Lovelady, under the heading of Heart on Shield, is going to just have played one hand on this TV table, be out of the tournament, but done the right thing. I
feel for Joey here. Yeah, actually, I remember we played a tournament in Australia a couple of years ago, and he came to my table, and there was a lot of banter. Oh, Joey's on the table now, it's going to be exciting, blah, blah, blah. And he stuck it all in re-raising with 10 deuce the first hand and got knocked out. So I never get to see much of Joey's game. It's a shame. I'd like to have seen his under-the-table cards.
Andy Black, looking remarkably sedate. I think this is the good Andy. I've got a good feeling about him in this tournament, and I think he's probably looking around, not just James Mitchell, at the tournament and saying, you know, I fancy myself here.
Well, he's definitely thinking to himself, I'm doing all right. I'm about average. We're not far off the bubble. Life's pretty cool. But he's got to be thinking to himself, I don't fancy the fact that I've got this James Mitchell character just on my left here. And this is going to be an interesting situation. Andy's raising. Looks like he might be nicking it. Looks like he doesn't need to have much of a hand. It hasn't been very active recently. It's made it 4,500 to go. James Mitchell's found a massive hand. Ace-king. Well, what's he going to do? Does he 3-bet? Does he flat call? He's got a 3-bet, hasn't he, really? I think he's going to make it about 12,000. That'll be the bet for me. Not that much, actually. Probably 11.
Just sort of as the chip leader with this hand in this position and these stacks, you'd never flat call.
Well, no, you're going to...
12,200.
12,200.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why would you want to? You're going to play ace-high out of position against a good player, an aggressive player like Andy Black. You're not going to want to do that. You know the guy's going to be nicking quite a lot of the time, so you're going to come over the top of it.
And Neil, Andy could ship. He could ship.
Andy could easily ship. It's 12,000 to play, so it's 7,000 more. If he goes all in, he's raising an extra 37,000. It's a quarter of James's chips. Maybe as much as a third of his remaining chips. So Andy will be thinking to himself, very easy for James to fold. He knows James's reputation, I'm sure, and he's got to think to himself, James doesn't need a hand as big as ace-king. If he's got 2 overs, I'm going to be in a race if I do get fold. I think it's a good spot to raise all in from Andy here, and I think he's going to be thinking that. But if he does get knocked out in this spot, he's going to go, oh my God, I had quite a good table, and suddenly I'm out of the tournament before the money.
Neil, my guess would be that Andy Black's never seen or heard of James Mitchell, but I think that Andy is the kind of guy that after it goes by 3 seconds, the quality of his decisions gets really good.
Well, I can tell you, even if he hasn't heard of James Mitchell, he's seen him come to the table with a hoodie on, and, you know, he's seen the way he holds his chips, he fiddles with his chips. He's seen the fact that he's got a sponsor's patch on. He knows about Black Belt Poker. He knows that James is one of the players that has played through that, and that makes him one of the young guns of UK poker. I think that Andy's going to respect James, but he's also going to think he doesn't need a hand.
Really getting that many good hands.
Here we go. Are you getting that many good hands? He's definitely sceptical about whether this is a good hand. He definitely has worked out the maths and says, I've got fold equity. If I ship, he's going to fold hands like ace-10, ace-9, a lot of the time, king-jack, those kind of hands that he might have 3-bet with. Obviously, we know that James is not really going to fold ace-king. That's one of the best hands you can get.
I think he's going to pass it.
Well, he's taken too long now, hasn't he? If you were going to raise, you know, he's already, just by speaking and did you get that many good hands, he's showing quite a lot of weakness, and he knew that as the time goes on, he just doesn't look strong enough.
I've got about another 10,000.
At the Irish Open, making a radio documentary about about professional poker players and about their life and covering the event. It's tricky enough because it's radio. You're trying to capture a poker table, which is essentially a group of silent people wearing shades, which is kind of tricky sometimes. But luckily, there's a lot of big characters in poker, and one thing I've noticed about poker players as well is they're generally not afraid of talking. They don't they don't hold back. They're not shy. Luckily, one of the guys I've been talking to is still following Andrew Black, so he's still in. There's less than 150 people, so fingers crossed for him and for me.
We've been here covering all the BWin players, making sure that their events going well for them. We have a lot of interest. We're normally a big sports book kind of thing, but we've got a poker section going. So we're here just to follow how all the players are doing within the Irish Open. It's the oldest and most prestigious event in all of Europe, so it's a big one for the calendar. And it's pretty good. There's a lot of demand because it is one of the biggest and the oldest on the circuit. So the interest from the poker and that kind of thing, because people are always interested in going to the cities that really fancy. Dublin's got a lot to offer, especially with this tournament. Well, I mean, to get the information across, we have the standard blogs going on that you get from all the information sites for the poker, but we have podcasts going on as well and videos. So we have a big range of a collection of useful things we can use to get across to the players with all the information we've taken.
Last year I played in a tournament run by MTTP Poker. There was 1,100 players in it, so it cost me £12.50 to enter and basically made the final and last women's stand. And that got me here today, so I'm still in there's only 160 odd left, so it's been a fantastic tournament. I'm really happy to be here, so it's great. I'm up and down with my chips, but I'm getting there at the moment, so it's been a brilliant tournament. Well, first of all, I wanted to get to day 2. That was my first objective. Now I'm here, I want to go all the way, obviously, but there's big chips at my table, so we'll just see how it goes.
As we get down to the nitty-gritty on the feature table, everybody knows him. Former world champion from snooker, it's Ken Doherty, 56,000 in chips. Seat number 2 from Canada. This is Tyler Bonkowski, one of the chip leaders, 181,000. He's a pro. Seat number 3, back on the feature table, a sole survivor, Ed Roycroft from County Cork's got some play. On his left, from Banbury, Eli Heath, a UK player. And Swede in seat number 5, Matthias Lannermark, 28,000, a bit on a short side right now. A lady in seat number 6, Sophia Logren, also hails from Gothenburg, Sweden. Declan Connolly in seat number 7 on 42,000 plus. And rounding out the table all the way from Arizona, USA, Dennis Waterman.
There's actually a little fella underneath there.
Well, this Sophia Logren, is a full-time poker player from Gothenburg. And just 20 years old. Now, there's a lot of Swedish poker pros, 20-year-old Swedish poker pros. There's not tons and tons of female 20-year-old Swedish poker pros.
Yeah, she's actually, it's just been announced in the last week that PKR are making her a sponsored pro. And in the press releases, she declared that she was much more of a cash game player generally, and that she's been tearing up the cash games on that site, and that she looks forward to going around playing some big MTTs around the world. So I would imagine she would have a slightly more conservative stance coming from a cash background, but we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, and yet here in her first big MTT or that we know of, here she is, final 100 or so. So obviously doing some stuff right. Bonkowski on the aggression, and if he raises every time it's folded around to him right around now, he's not doing anything wrong, is he?
No, I like this idea. It's definitely what you should be doing at this stage. And the other guys need to look at their stack sizes and say, what have I got in the way of fold equity? I think Matthias should say, I've got plenty of fold equity. If he ships the whole lot here, which is 30,000, he's going to pick up 10,000 chips. There's 10,000 chips in there. He's adding 25% to his stack. And even if he gets called,